Hi guys, welcome back. It's Mary, and today I'm going to show you how to make pan-seared halibut and shrimp with a side of asparagus. For this recipe, you're going to need 1 bunch of asparagus, 2 halibut fillets, and 6 shrimp, unsalted butter, Parmesan, and for the seasonings, I made a dry rub. I used thyme, onion powder, I used salt and pepper to taste, garlic powder, season all, and a little olive oil. You will also need some fresh thyme. The first thing that I'm going to do is preheat 2 large skillets on medium heat. While my skillets are heating up, I wash my bunch of asparagus and then I snap off the paler end of the stalk. This is because it is very tough to eat and not appetizing. Once I finish removing all the ends of my stalks, I go ahead and cut my bunch of asparagus in half. Before I add it into my pan, I do add a little olive oil and let that come to the same temperature as the pan. This prevents the asparagus from sticking. I give the asparagus a good stir once added into the pan and allow it to saute for a couple minutes without touching it. To prep my halibut and shrimp for this recipe, I go ahead and drizzle just a little bit of olive oil and make sure I rub it in on both sides. This will serve as the binder for the seasonings. I use the dry rub and generously season both sides of the fillet and shrimp, as well as salt and pepper to taste. Now that the skillet is nice and hot and my oil is hot, I place in my halibut fillets and let those pan sear for 4 minutes on each side. Now that my fish is cooking, I do check on my asparagus. I will check on it periodically throughout the video, just making sure to give it a good stir, and then I will leave it alone to finish sauteing. Now that 4 minutes has passed, I flip over my fillets and let them pan sear for 4 more minutes on the other side. This step is optional, but I like to baste my fish. I think it adds a little bit of flavor, so I take 2 tablespoons of butter, let that melt down, and add my fresh thyme, and then I just drizzle the butter over the top of the fish. I do this about a minute or so before removing the fish from the pan. Before removing my fish from the pan, I make sure it's cooked through by taking off a thicker portion of the fish and making sure it is an opaque white. If it has any translucent hue to it, it is not finished cooking, and let it cook just a little longer. Now that my asparagus has developed a nice char to it, I add salt, pepper, and garlic powder. I give it a good stir and let it cook for roughly 1 more minute. While those are cooking, I add my shrimp to the same pan that I cooked my halibut and let them sear on each side for about 1.5 minutes. Now that my asparagus are done cooking, I reduce the heat to low, add a little Parmesan over top, and place a lid to steam the cheese so it will melt, and let it go for roughly 1 more minute. During that time, I flip over my shrimp and leave those alone for another 1 minute and 30 seconds on that side. Now that my asparagus are done, I remove the lid and take it off the heat. My shrimp are thicker, so they weren't cooked through completely yet, so I added just a little bit of water, put the lid over, and let them steam for a minute, and once they were done, I removed them from the pan. To tell if the shrimp are cooked through, they are just like fish, so they need to be an opaque white instead of translucent. I paired my halibut with some cocktail sauce and fresh lemon. And that is how I made my pan-seared halibut and shrimp. Thank you guys for watching.